The fact that we say 95% of our lives are run by habit, that kind of tells you that if that was not a whole lot of conscious thinking going on. And if you make the next step that says habit is really associations from the past, which makes sense, right? Stimulus response is an association. If you make that next step, then you have to say associations are probably coming from the subconscious. Well, if you look at all the attributes of the subconscious, all the things that are known in the textbooks, and then you look at all the attributes and what's known about the 100 billion neurons, the network of neurons of 100 billion of them interacting with other neurons, you'll have to say these two things are the same forever. Hundreds of years it's been a mind. All the books say it's a mind. And who's going to unwind that? That's the issue. So for me, I'm not a scientist. My job is working with business people to get better results. I don't have to live into the paradigm or the curbs that have been put out there for psychologists, etc., that calls this thing a subconscious mind. I'm not going to call it a subconscious mind because it's not. The mind is very different. The mind regulates the flow of energy. If a person dies, their mind is gone, the spirit is gone, the soul is gone. What's here on earth is the neurons in the brain. If the subconscious is the neurons, then that's body. It's not mind. That's the way I'm going to look at it. I'm not asking you to adopt that, but I would say for the next 40 minutes or 35 minutes or so, suspend judgment and then see where you land. The next one is the interaction with the higher self. I've already talked about that. The spill the beans on this one is consciousness, which is what we're talking about, that small slice of higher self, that's our way of interacting with the spiritual realm, whatever that is for you. Consciousness cannot be defined. And I say it cannot be defined because there's a lot of definitions and they don't agree. Same with the mind. They say the mind is the brain at work. That's not how I would look at it. The mind is actually directing the brain. You can look this stuff up. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research, come up with your own hypothesis and try to debunk what I'm saying and do it from a top-down standpoint. But the interaction with the higher self, I define consciousness. I don't define consciousness. I explain consciousness by saying it's awareness of awareness. So you all are aware that you're watching a video about this topic of the subconscious, and it's kind of strange. And now we're talking about awareness. And you're also aware that you're having that awareness about a conversation about awareness. See, we can be aware that we are aware that we are aware that we're aware. So now, if you think about it from a habit change standpoint, we've all lived that where we're doing something and we're saying, I know I shouldn't be doing that, but I'm doing it. And the problem with that statement is that those two are equal. I should not be doing it, but I am still doing it. What I would argue is that the awareness is the mind, is you, your highest self. And the thing that's making you want to keep doing it, that's the subconscious, that's the habit patterns. That's what we've got to break. If you do something as simple as get up and take a walk, and you can even play a game with yourself and say, if I still want to scroll on social media, if I still want to eat that chocolate candy that I'm not supposed to eat, after I take the walk, I'll eat it. I'll give myself that permission to eat it. The reason why we play that little game is because the subconscious is already off and running and it's firing off those patterns, and the habit sometimes is hard to stop. And this is designed to make you stay alive. The purpose was to stay alive long enough to procreate. So it's very, very powerful. It will overpower your willpower. But if you break the pattern and you get a whole different set of neurons firing, it's not even important. That chocolate candy, no, I don't even want that anymore because now this other thing is more exciting.